everyone, and what's going on? Happy Wednesday to you too, Steve P. What's going on? Pez Head 123. What is happening? I hope all is well with you. I'm here with Mr. Gavin. See if we can turn the mic up. Can you guys hear us all right?
Yeah.
We need to hurry up and get our new gear, Gavin, so everybody can hear us well. Hope everyone's doing well. We've had a great week, wouldn't you say? And if you saw tonight's thumbnail, road trip, what the heck does that mean? TJ Miller, what's up? What is up? What is up? Dirk Connor, hey, what's going on, my friend? Steve P said the Gavinator.
Hello.
How's that?
That was my name from last week.
So thank you, Dirk. So we are headed to, it looks like, I think today was the deciding factor. It looks like we're headed to Overland Expo East. It's going to be cool. And I say it looks like it because I still actually have to. What's up, man? What are you doing?
Headband for fitness.
I still have to book our campsite or buy our camp ticket or whatever it is. So it's other than a day pass. But so we'll be there. Are you ready for some cold temperatures though? Now cold for you and I because we're not like pro campers.
Wait, can I bring the heated blanket?
No. Were you gonna plug it into the Bronco?
Yeah, we can.
Come on, man. Live a little.
Hey, I mean, we can.
No, we're going to be good. We're going to be good. It's going to be, I think, in the mid to upper 40s, which is, look.
So where is it again?
It's in Arrington, Virginia. So west of us, about 3 hours.
So near Roanoke?
No, a lot closer. Roanoke's like 5 hours away. This is more like Charlottesville. We go to Charlottesville, we go south, and we go, hey, Bronco dude, what's going on? Hello, everyone. I will have to catch the replay. I'm sitting somewhere and can't turn up the volume. Great. Well, Bronco dude, turn up the volume and let everyone hear us. Tell them I said hello, wherever you are. But I understand. Yeah, check us out tomorrow. We'll be here. But Gavin and I are looking forward to meeting everyone that's going to be there at Overland Expo East. Got to make sure I get the name right.
TJ, I have heard of this. I'm thinking about it.
Oh, yeah. I have some cool stuff to take. It's going to keep us warm, I guess.
We have some pads that, like, you crack a disc that's in them.
Mm-hmm.
You just find the disc and go, and then they warm up.
Yeah, but I've got some surprises for you. You'll be warm there. We have some really cool stuff to take. It's just a lot of blankets and stuff, right? But nice sleeping bags and stuff. But it ought to be cool. Get to hang out with some fellow off-roaders well, I'm not going to call myself an overlander. I'm trying to get into it, right? But Bronco owners and everyone else. There'll be a lot of brands.
Enough of overland.
By the way, you're going to see some stuff there you've never seen before. A lot of really built overlanding machines, like people that do this hardcore. And it's going to be fun. Hey, and we do have some stuff to talk about tonight. And we're going to jump right into it. Let's go ahead and start sharing this.
Oh, we have a little
you like that
video?
No, not a video. We're gonna look at something here. So over at the Bronco Nation, Gavin and I really like our friends over there. This article's by Laura, who really writes some great articles, by the way. Gets right to the point. It's kind of clear, or not kind of, it's very clear, and you just know the facts. And here's the facts. Someone, and I have a reason for talking about this. My Raptor's tied up into this somehow. Not exactly this case, but the backstory, basically, when the reordering for the 23s happened, this person here on September 21st generated or regenerated the order for 23. Their Sasquatch package was accidentally left off of the bill. Could you imagine us getting our Bronco and no Sasquatch? Right. Luckily, when they got the confirmation, they noticed it and they were able to get a hold of the dealer and to get it changed. But the story is, pay attention. If you've reordered if you've had a 21 order and didn't get built in a 22 and then, now 23, to be very cautious to make sure that nothing got dropped. Now, when we changed from the 21, remember when we went from the 21 to the 22 with the green one? Our 22 now,
It got from Priority Code 99 in like October to late October.
Do you remember what got missed on it? It's not a big deal, but our crankcase heater, our block heater.
Yeah.
So the modular bumper we wanted originally, but it wasn't available at the time, so we did capable, which we actually like, by the way. And
I don't like have a preference for bumpers. I'm more of looks, not function, because you can mount my lights and winches on all of them.
well, the capable bumper comes with recovery points in the front and fog lights, but there's really nowhere to mount. I mean, I'm sure you could make it work. You could drill some holes in there and make it work, but the modular bumper, the point of it is, you can remove the end caps. You can do a brush bar. You can put fog lights, in it. You can bolt stuff anywhere the Bronco bolts are. The bolts with the Bronco written on it, those are for you to put in, take out, and do whatever you want to with them.
Take off the fenders.
So, but what happened for us was tow wasn't available because of wiring harness shortage, and the bumpers wasn't available. So that was like, okay, no problem on that. But we just didn't notice that the block heater, crankcase heater was missing. No big deal, right? It's like we don't need it where we live. We just got it. It was $100, so I figured why not?
$100, like you never know where we're gonna be overland in Canada or something with Johnny or someone, and then
Colorado or something like that.
Yeah,
I mean, it gets anywhere, right? Anywhere. So that was the reason for that. And I think Gavin, was there something else?
I know. I think on the 21 and maybe the 22, the hub locks might have got left out.
Oh, the wheel locks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So our dealer's given us some of those, I think. But that was small stuff. But this article goes on, if you read this here and head over to the Bronco Nation and check it out. It is one of their stories there. But basically, they prepped with the dealer the night before, did everything they were supposed to do, got all the COVP. They did that is the customer order verification something or another. I can't remember the exact acronym, but basically it's just how they verify that a dealer is not putting a name out there, John Doe on Main Street, and it's not a real person. So they're actually ordering a Bronco from for a real customer.
Some guy who is named John Doe and lives on Main Street. If you're watching this, sorry. He's gonna be like, man, come on.
All right. 2023 scheduling, production scheduling for 2023 begins soon. Ford says early October.
And it is early October.
Yeah, it's early October. So basically, if you have switched from a 22 to a 23, the moral of the story is pay attention to the details. And sorry, I'm not over on the comments right now, but I do want to mention something else. Here we go. So this is the Virginia is for lovers. Bronco lovers join us at OE East. And let's see if it works. Mr. Gavin's getting something over here out of our way. Another article by Laura. So basically, it says next week, which obviously it's this week now, Overland Expo, the fourth Overland Expo of the year, which happens to be here in the East. And that is going to happen. I guess people start rolling in there maybe tomorrow, I guess. I don't know. It could be tonight. But if you read this article there again, head over to the Bronco Nation. Check it out. Great website, by the way. Head over. Like I said, it's a short drive from Charlottesville. So if you're familiar with Virginia, you know where Charlottesville is. Arrington is just south of Charlottesville. So from the coast, it's about 3 hours or so. Depends on how fast you drive, and depends on traffic. But
I'll be going there in a GT, just going like 300 down the interstate.
Yeah, you don't want to do 300 down the interstate,
and unless you're on the auto.
But we're just going to cruise down. I think we're headed Friday night if everything goes well. Mm-hmm. But it should be fun. So anyway, I just wanted to check this out. Head on over there. If you're headed, let me know in the comments below. Look us up. We will be in our 21 Bronco. Let's go ahead and head on back. Let's see some of the comments here. Yeah, TJ Miller said, I could see a shady dealer doing that to get it faster and have buyers back out for themselves. I mean, from the stories we've heard, TJ, I wouldn't be shocked either. Let's see. Steve P said, I just received my order confirmation. Here, let's pull this up here. Look, everyone can see it. Let me get out of that. I have too much going on the screen there. Just received my order confirmation for the change from 22 to 23. 2-door Heritage Race Red Standard with Sasquatch package. Oh Lord, don't say Sass on YouTube. You'll get the keyboard cowboys after you there, but I know what you mean. Anyway, the Sasquatch package, it's still on the order. All is good for you. And and there's a chance that it's just when it was getting changed, it just got dropped, because when you look at these all day, it's probably very easy to forget that one light item, like a block heater in my case. There again, we weren't upset by it at all. No big deal. Theoretically, you could put one in aftermarket. But I didn't need it that bad. It was just $100. Why not, right? But it's kind of cool though that Gavin's future Bronco has it, and Mom's current Bronco does. Just $100. Well, in the scheme of things, a $60,000 Bronco, $100 is not a lot of money. But $100 now gets you what we figured out tonight: 4 hamburgers from Red Robin, which, by the way.
And maybe
we're not sponsored by them.
No.
It was good, wasn't it?
And maybe a few extra drinks.
It was it was very good. So yeah, Bronco 78, good evening, sir. Brew John, it's annoying they dropped it off every unit that. Let me pop this up here. Hold on. For Christmas, Gavin, I want glasses. Okay. Better glasses. It's annoying that they dropped off every unit that isn't standard on. You would think, right, going from one year to the next. But here's my Bronco Raptor issue. Story/reason we haven't gotten it yet.
And we have an 8-second delay.
We have an 8-second delay. Good. So what happened? So what happened was when we were pushed from a 22 Raptor to a 23, which I didn't get an email. It went into, for some reason at our dealer, priority code 99. So I had a conversation 2 weeks ago, I guess now, maybe 2 weeks or so. Time flies. And my rep at the dealer said, what do you want to do? We have until sometime in November. I want to say November 10th, 11th, 12th, something like that. And I just said, you know what? At this point, at this time of the year, let it sit, and we'll take it off of priority code 99 at the 1st of November. So right now, our Bronco Raptor is sitting on ice, or at least the order is, until the first week. So like what? No, not there. That's when they're built and waiting. I'm just.
But isn't it Dirt Mountain?
I don't know. I don't know what it is now.
I think it was
Here, talking to the mic, dude.
I think that it was Ice Mountain, because
it was Dirt Mountain and then Ice Mountain.
Because they got.
But we're done with the mountain. We're done with the mountain.
Snow up there.
I think we're done with the mountain. So.
And I saw a bunch of Raptors in Michigan at the plant. Hundreds, like 500 Raptors just lined up.
I don't think it was 500, but it was a pile of them. And we were talking about Michigan assembly plant. So we were up there. So anyway, we were. I was shocked to find that out. But who knows when we take it off and put it back into the order, when it actually gets picked up, and how long it'll take to get it. So, are we looking at January again? Or are we into February or March? Like I said, at this point, I'm okay if it showed up next April. The only thing is we'd love to get it and film with it and try it out and have fun with it.
Show up on September 30th of this year.
Too late.
We can rewind.
By the way, Gavin just had a birthday, so he's that's what he's hinting to. But anyway, so that's our issue, or that's our story with our Raptor. So if you're wondering, like, okay, I haven't heard anything about it, that's it. So we're just letting it sit till the 1st of November. It'll be turned back into taken off of priority code 99, and that's it. And so that's where we go. So I can relate to the article. In our case, which the day we take it off of priority code 99, I am going to look at the order again, right? I'm going to let Gavin look at the order again and make sure I'm not forgetting something.
And by the way,
3 eyes looking at it.
Happy birthday, Porter.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's Porter's birthday, isn't it? All right. Yeah, Steve's saying oops. Hey Nick, what's going on? I haven't chatted with you here in a while. Hope all is well on your end. You can't hide money. Bronco 78. Um, no, but you can spend it.
Well,
You know, it's life's for the living, and so
Hey, Dad.
we're living.
is there
I'm
gonna
spending
be
Gavin's inheritance.
is is there gonna be water at this overlanding?
What do you mean water?
Like fishing?
Up. No. Did you say ice fishing?
No.
Dude, it's going to be in the 70s.
Just bring a mini fishing rod and cast it down there.
Oh, you want to go fishing somewhere?
I want to go actual fishing.
All right. Brujon, here, let's pull this up here.
I mean, you could just get a hook and a line and throw it out, put some bait on it.
Oh, you want to read this?
That'd work. Brujon, I have already converted, ordered, and my carryover to Bronco Raptors.
Two Bronco Raptors. Wow.
Raptors.
Plural. I like it.
B-Raptors.
Good deal. So you're getting two of them, or ordering two. That is a good thing. I'm hoping, and maybe tell me if I'm wrong. That's how I read it. Steve P said, I'm hoping to get mine before April. So it's coming up, Supercell road trip. You know, the coolest thing in the world, like April's going to be here before we know it, but the coolest thing in the world is going to Supercell East. You know, I can't speak for West. I haven't been there. I can't.
Andrea Paradiso, hello. Thank you for that $20 donut. Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Andrea, what's going on? Thank you. I really appreciate it, Andrea. By the way, super chat, super stickers, they go a long way. And Andrea, you're as good as gold. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Quite literally gold. Well,
huh?
Well, almost gold.
What's orange? Orange thing on the screen there. Anyway, Gavin, man, he's on it. He's on it. He keeps me straight. But anyway, Andrea, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate that. I really do. That'll help get Gavin some blankets this weekend.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have to freeze up in the mountain. Oh gosh, take that off, dude. What are you doing? Gavin's over here playing with a super chat on his mom's iPad, and if she's watching right now, you might want to come get it from him because
we are using the.
He was getting ready to donate $500. Seriously, you need to.
Well, you have to put in a card number, and I'm just looking how long it will stay on screen.
Anyway, Andrea, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Do you want to say anything to Andrea?
Thank you.
Speaking of Supercell East, so last year we met a lot of really good people. Andrea was one. There we chatted, obviously a long time before that, but actually got to meet and Bronco 78 and Dave and Kelly and Tim with Overlanding for Fun. And the list goes on. I'm going to leave somebody out and I don't mean to. The coolest thing about Super Celebration East, it was just a really, really fun time. Mm-hmm. Becky didn't know how she was going to enjoy it, right? She was like, well, okay, I'm just going to go hang out for...
And we didn't know how she was going to handle us telling her that we're getting a Raptor.
Yeah. So, well, you always tell your wife something like that in public. So,
yeah. We have witnesses.
So, but we had a blast. She had a blast. Met really great people. So, there again, when you go to Supercell, definitely do it. Andrea, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Let's see what we got. TJ Miller. Anyone up north in the Rust Belt get their Bronco sprayed with wool wax? You're getting your sprayed on Tuesday.
What's wool wax?
I'm going to look it up. I'm not familiar with it. Someone else that may be in the chat, or even if you're, by the way, watching live, thank you very much. Hit that thumbs up for me and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. We greatly appreciate it. And another thing, that bell icon, if you hit the bell, hit all notifications, you'll know when we go live, when we have a video drop, which we have a lot of videos stacked and ready to come out like this week, next week, whatever. So it's going to be fun. Oh, Bro John, I'm okay. That makes sense now. I was like, dang,
Wool wax is a heavy
You'd be a
duty.
baller.
Wool wax is a heavy duty industrial grade lanolin wool grease formula that provides powerful
Lanolin.
lanolin wool grease formula that provides powerful long-term corrosion protection. So that's what good old Google says. Oh, typical price $56 to $65.
Yeah, well, you're getting the whole thing done plus the labor.
Well, no, you can just like buy a can.
Oh yeah, but he's going to get somebody to do that. Hey, well, you could spray it. We could teach you how to. No, you can't do it. You're too young for all that. So, Brujon can get your order done now. I know we could release it. I was just trying to buy another 30 days because I don't necessarily want to get it. It wouldn't happen over December. I know it'd take longer than that, but February, March, I'm not crazy about getting it then. I know it sounds weird. Closer to spring would be key for us. So the later I order it, and I know most people want to hurry up and get theirs, and it would be good for video. But at this point, it's a $80,000 investment that I'd be willing to push off till spring. Let's see. Get this done here. Gavin, I need you to read this for me. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But anyway, so that's basically where we're at. So let's head over here to something else. And I want to get your opinion on this. So we are going to have to remove this one, Gavin. I think we're going to melt this thing down. You all right, man? So let's remove this.
And I'm going to go here very soon because I have a little bit of homework left to do.
You actually have a lot of homework. You want to tell everyone how school's going?
Well, 3 pages. It's typical nice word. It's going good. Good grades. Yeah. And I just got reaccepted onto the football team because I was on, but the Google form didn't go through that you had to apply for.
Here, once talking to the mic, dude.
So the Google form didn't go through for the football team that you had to apply it on, and middle of the first practice at my school, they told me that I couldn't play because the form didn't go through. They had max players, but today at 8, my principal called and told my mom that a student had either broken or really hurt their foot, and I had a little voice crack there. I was like,
those are details.
Yeah, but had hurt their foot, and there's only 2 practices left until the game. So Gavin's
super excited. He gets to play on the football team.
I get to play now, again.
All right, you ready for turning in for the night, and that's it? Mm-hmm. All right, tell everyone goodbye.
Good night, everyone. Thank you, Andrea, and anyone else. Bronco 78, Brujon, anyone else. All Terrain Nation, hello. Also, goodbye. And
all in one sentence.
And anyone else that has joined in on the stream, either now or on replay, thank you. And goodbye.
Night. Are you ready for this weekend? Mm-hmm. All right, Gavin, if you're going to Overland Expo East,
good night,
Gavin will be there.
Good night, Dirk Connor. And anyone else, good night.
All right, let's get to the screen sharing here. Let's hit this. Let's see. I need to get rid of some of these up here. All right, what do you think about this? Over at the Ford Authority, another really great website that we always reference to. Let's check it out and see the latest going on. But I did see a tweet this week from Mike Levine, Ford spokesman, that said that the Bronco is getting an over-the-air update. So, well, I'm not going to read the whole thing. You know about modern vehicles. But Mike Levine said, full screen CarPlay, OTA, or over-the-air power up coming to Bronco customers with a 12-inch display. So what do you think about that? Does it matter? And I think this is, the article here says F-150 as well. Let's see what the headline. F-150 gets full screen. Yeah, Bronco and F-150. So, what does that mean? I don't know exactly, what to expect. I guess it's the really cool thing is how, You get over-the-air updates. You can also get over-the-air diagnostics. So, for example, we were trying to figure out my headlight situation one day. The headlights came on by themselves. We think it was an over-the-air thing. At least that's what the dealer thinks. But what happened was they were able to, from the service department, look at the Bronco and see if there was any fault codes or anything going wrong or anything, and it wasn't on the Ford app, but theoretically something could maybe not go to the app, but they could see it, even though you would think it's in both places, but anything happens. And so it's really cool. I'm driving down the road and they're looking it up saying, hey, all's good. Okay, don't worry about it. And I haven't had the issue since. So the over the air update makes sense. And what was it doing? I don't know. And that's part of it. This technology is at least mainstream for most of us, so new that we don't know all the little, quirks and features about it. So pretty interesting. But Mike Levine just dropped a little hint there that basically it appears that CarPlay is running full screen in terms of width. And of course, it's not technically full screen height because you do have your icons top and bottom, but at least in the width, and it's Sync 4, in the Sync 4 readout button. So if you're familiar with the Sync 4, especially the 12-inch screen, you'll know that it's some people there like it, some don't. I don't get into the Apple CarPlay. I know Becky has said sometimes her music drops off when she's listening to it, but if you connect, and I don't have it with me, but if you connect your cord from your phone to the USB on the Bronco, it works a lot better, right? So you're not having to use the Bluetooth. But as far as all of the updates, what does it mean? I don't know if we really know all of what it means, but we know you're getting an update. And I think that some of the stuff that you can expect with over the air, I would imagine, is going to be it's going to be new. And let's see, it isn't the first time Sync 4 has been updated. Better interface, Apple devices, Ford Authority first. Yeah, so go over to Ford Authority, check out this article. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I mean, that's their article there, but just go check them out over at Ford Authority. It's a great article. Read it top to bottom, and might learn a little bit on that. And let's switch on. And I actually have one more thing to check on there. So anyway, this weekend, looking forward to heading to Overland Expo East. I don't know. I think we're going to try to do Friday and Saturday and then leave Sunday morning. If not, depends on Gavin. We'll be there at least one evening. And hopefully, if we have to leave early, it'll be Saturday afternoon. But hopefully we get to stay Saturday night as well. But if little man gets cold, then we have to head home. Let's see. What else going on? So we talked about the Bronco Raptor. You know the deal with that. Our two Broncos are doing well. We do have a company that sent us a cool device that we need to put on one of our Broncos, and we finally decided we're going to put it on the 21. That video will be coming out soon. We also have a product that we were going to review it. I've told you some time ago, and then when we did the name change from Bronco Wild Outdoors to Driven Wild Outdoors, we needed to get past that changeover for that name because we make sure that the algorithm picks us up, and to do this company justice for sending us a product to test out. But because it's been so long, and I'm going to say this in a video, I've actually been able to try the product, and guess what? It works. And I've tried it twice since then. So my review is going to be, well, hey, thanks for sending it to me, but I had to cheat and use a little bit. And guess what? I have a head start on the review because I know the product works. So we're going to present that and show it to you. And maybe it's something that you can use. And if you want to buy it, great. If not, I know that I've actually spent my own money to buy a bigger container because what they sent me was a very small sample. And I have a huge container now that I paid for because the product works. So we have some really cool stuff. And somebody reached out to us today and they want us to try a product there. And we're not a product review channel. However, some of the stuff's really cool heading our way. And I just want to relay it to you and you be the judge, whether you like it or not. And honest review. If we put these products on there and they don't work that well, we'll tell you. And if they work great, we'll tell you. So it'll be pretty cool. Bronco 78. Does anyone know here? Let's pop this up here. Does anyone know if the Bronco that didn't get a sub is pre-wired for one? I don't know. That, my friend, is an excellent question. It seems to me, because of the cost of having so many different configurations in a wiring harness, I don't know, for stuff that we've wired into houses, right? To where an infotainment system in a house that they didn't use all of the available options was still wired, at least in some of the bundles, was still wired from one location to another for that future upgrade, because it's kind of hard to go through some of these walls. In the case of a Bronco, because that would add up to some money in the future, do they have different harnesses? I don't know. It seems to me that they would have the harness with a couple wires for that. But who knows? Maybe it's a different harness. That's a very good question. I know one of the things, and we released a video tonight on the two-door base Bronco build. One of the things we were talking about, the accessory switches. I have seen people play heck with trying to get the accessory switches in a Bronco that didn't come with them, and the wiring stuff has been a battle. So, part of what I said in that video, and I'll say it everywhere, if you're even considering ever adding a modification, adding accessories or whatever, it's $200. It's like $190 to add it. And if you don't use them, well, it's $200. But if you have to do it, it's going to cost a lot more. And that's even if you can get it done, and you might end up putting toggle switches wherever you can get to them, underneath the dash or wherever. So, but Bronco 78, that would be a good question for us to find out. And here's the thing. I don't have this video coming out where it talks about the packages. So especially between mid, high, and Lux. And Lux has, for us, it has a stereo system that we like. We don't want our ears to bleed. We like the B&O, and I know some people don't like it, and that's cool. That is a huge advantage for us. Also, the USB in the dash. So that's a nice add there. 12-inch touchscreen, but you can get that on a high package if you configure, the order for it. But I would say that is the only thing, if you can do an aftermarket sound system that you're okay with, a high package might be the best package to get if you're going to be replacing bumpers, whatever winch you want to use, right? So, if you want to do the modular bumper with the Warren winch, part of your front camera view is going to be blocked. But if you want a different style and you have adaptive cruise control, sometimes, well, I think a lot of times that affects, and I'm sure companies are going to work on this until they get it. So adaptive cruise control is not affected. And when I mean not affected, it would be certifiable, safe to use. I know there's several ones out there that, when you start trying to recalibrate and move stuff, you get into a situation, it might not see the car in front of you. So that's a no-go for me, and never recommend it. But that's why I would pick between a high and a Lux. But getting back to the sound system and the woofer and everything, I don't know. I think they would have to pre-wire it. Let's see. True, the accessory switches are not pre-wired, so the sub may not be either. And yes, there are more wires there for it, and it might even be a separate harness, being that it comes from one location and goes down. I think it's the passenger side A pillar, maybe, and then it ends up. It could be the driver side, but I know it's one of the A pillars, and I want to say it's passenger side. But something like a speaker in the back, there's already a harness going that way, so I would say that you would think 2 wires there, but look, how many feet of wire does that add up to in the scheme of things? And it may be done separately. So we'll see. Let's see. Jeffrey Johnston said, let's pop this up here. I watched a guy jump a Bronco over a small jump that I jumped in a Colorado ZR2 over and it fell apart. The front wheels were pointing away from each other and we laughed so hard. Tears. Yeah. So, Jeffrey, what size tires did he have on that Bronco? And did he have a lift on it? And I mean, there's a lot of stuff, how fast, what angle, what size tires, what size lift, all of that is going to affect, and it's probably when the tires are pointing, it probably broke the tie rods. I wouldn't say it fell apart. I mean, if it broke the tie rods broke. I'm sure the rest of the Bronco was intact. But what I would say is get your ZR2 and compare it to a Bronco Raptor that was made to jump. And that would be a better comparison to see how far and how smooth a Bronco can fly. That would be the best one. But I understand. I mean, I've seen plenty of vehicles break driving down the interstate that shouldn't. Everything happens. But I would dare say this: if there was a lift, if there was a suspension lift on that, there was bigger tires on that, the geometry starts to change to the point where it puts the tie rods in a bind. And there's three things I don't do at our Broncos. I don't rock crawl. I just have no desire to. I mean, it'd be fun to do it in someone else's Bronco. I don't drive, like I've seen this week, different people in the Outer Banks and especially Corova for some reason, driving in salt water. I don't do that. What's the third thing? Oh yeah. I don't jump stuff like that. For me, my idea is, wheeling on the beach, a little bit of mud, like a muddy trail. I don't mean a mud bog, but just a little bit of mud. See, that's my idea. And I'm not worried about any of that. Every time I see any vehicle jump and I see the front end, the suspension, it just makes me cringe, even though the Bronco Raptor is to a point made with the joust bumpers and everything else on there. It's made to catch a little air. It would still make me cringe to take an $80,000 vehicle and do that. But that's, what it's built for. But Jeffrey, thanks for the comment. I really appreciate that. Yeah, Bronco 78 said, I agree. The high package is the way to go for the money. There is a huge cost difference in that. And if you're going to change your bumper and you don't want to be worried about the adaptive cruise control, and the USB in the dash and the B&O is not a concern. And there's a few other things in there. I know that's not it, but those seem to be what most people look at. I would say that the high package and then build on that audio system, especially if you don't think you're going to like the B&O. I mean, we like it, but if you don't think you're going to like it, don't get it. You can change your bumper. You can do some cool stuff there, change the audio, and make it happen. Brandon Richards, my Black Diamond should be arriving at, look at this. Brandon Richards, we're happy for you. That is awesome. I remember the day we were expecting ours to come in. It was super exciting. I mean, it really was. And you're going to love it. But it's cool. Maybe your dealer can get some pictures of it on the truck, or maybe a video of them backing it off. If you can't be there, I would ask them for that. Some trucks come in before they open. How our dealership was on my first one. On the second one, I was able to pass it going down the road, and so I did a U-turn and chased the truck down. And my green 22, we were able to get that video of it coming off the truck. But that's cool. Congratulations. That is awesome. Black Diamond's a nice trim. If you don't mind me asking, what color is it? Just curious. Yep, that is awesome. So, here's the thing. I don't know when you ordered your Bronco, if you were a reservation holder before the ordering took place in January 21, or if you've ordered since 21, either way, it doesn't matter. The excitement is still the same. There again, if you were there on July 13th, 2020, or it was 6 months ago, it is so cool to get the emails, the build picture. I don't know if you've gotten that yet, or if I know we got our build picture on the 21 after we received it and right before the 22 got here. It's the coolest thing in the world. It starts to get real, but the night before it comes in, man, it's cool. Eruption green, awesome. Well, good deal. It's a beautiful color. We love it. My wife loves her eruption green Bronco. Some people don't like it. That's cool. I'm glad we don't all like the same vehicle. They'd all be the same. But eruption green is a cool color. So good deal. Yeah, and TJ Miller had a great question here, by the way. Sasquatch or rocking the Steelies? The Sasquatch, I was chatting with someone tonight, they'd mentioned that in their opinion, the Sasquatch is one of the best values that you can get, for the money. You get a lot of stuff with it. And the cost of it depends if you're uh, building a base or building a Badlands, right? Because as the trim levels go up, some of the features are there, so it comes off the cost. I know we did a build-in price on a Badlands this week, and Sasquatch went from $24.99 when I ordered our two to $4,090. So Sasquatch on a Badlands is an additional $4,090 now versus roughly $2,500. Let's see. All right. Dirk Connor said, my Everglades has shipped as well. Should be rolling in 10/21/22. Congratulations. I can't wait to see it. And there again, I saw a picture of an Everglades. Somebody took it, their Bronco came in this week, their Everglades came in and they showed it on the transporter. And it's it's a really nice looking rig sitting there, that snorkel, the billboard, as some people call it, on the front fender. I mean, look, it's a different trim. I when I reviewed one in Townsend, I said I would own one in a minute. I can't, but if I didn't have the other one coming, then that would be a cool deal. What I like about it is speaking about an Everglades, right? We could talk all night about the different trims, but the Everglades is cool because it gives you sort of that overlanding head start, right? You have the MIC top, you have the roof rails, roof racks, you have the slide out tailgate in the back. It is a mid package, but the only trim that you can get the 12-inch touchscreen in. If you look in the door jambs, there are some black plastic kind of supposed to be extra gaskets to help keep water from intruding into the interior. I don't know exactly what that was. If I haven't found out from anyone at Ford if that's what it is, but there's a difference between my Bronco and that one. The Bronco Raptor has it as well. A little bit, they give you your own little color for your accent inside on the grab handles. You have the marine grade vinyl, the washout floors, the 2.3, and that snorkel and the winch. So you have a head start to what a lot of people do. I mean, literally, you could get one, pack it full of stuff the weekend you get it, and go have fun with it. So that is very cool. Have I tried to sell you on an Everglades enough? I don't know why it hasn't taken off any more than it have. I mean, I don't know the order numbers or the take rate on that, but I just know that from what I hear, if it's all true, it wasn't a huge sell, which is good for you if you did get one, because if they do discontinue it after 23, you're going to have a fairly rare, I'd say relatively, that's too much going on with, but you have a rare Bronco. Confirmed 3/4. It's been about, okay. Brandon said Steelies, no Sasquatch. So good thing. And, whatever you want to do to that Bronco, you can do it yourself. And then that way you can, if you don't like those wheels, you don't like the tires, or something you want to do different, suspension, it is all yours. In the two-door base Bronco build that I did, I purposely didn't go with a lot of the stuff that you would likely do off, aftermarket, and something that you would kind of grow into. Some of these Broncos is a never-ending project where you want to add something in. You can start with this idea. You're going to do the suspension lift, the body lift, the wheels and tires. Then you're going to move into to communications or the comms in it. You're going to do some engine stuff, and maybe you're going to you're going to wrap it, you're going to add some graphics to it. It's not a big deal on any of that. But as far as the suspension driveline, changing the suspension, the gearing, things like that, that's all stuff that you can do over a weekend, over a month, over a year, and make it uniquely yours. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, no hurry to get rid of the 32s though. Yeah, I hear you. Michael Cooper said, picked up my black diamond up last Thursday, Cyber Orange 2.3. Good deal. So you got the manual. Awesome. Yeah, and obviously the Cyber Orange is gone for 23 and replaced by Azure Gray. Which, have you figured that color out yet? I haven't seen anything in person with it. I know they have it on the 250. Who knows what all they have it on, but I know it was on the 250 from the launch. It's going to be on the Bronco. I'm going to, I've said in a couple of videos, I just didn't do anything for me yet. I'm not saying I don't like it, but we all know the website doesn't really show the true colors literally of one of the colors on there, the color chart. So when you see one and it's cleaned up in the sunlight, right, in the natural lighting, I think you might get a different opinion about it. But at least from what I see right now, it's not a whole lot. And I struggled with Area 51. Like, people that know me was like, dang, just pick the color. And I think I went through everything but white and black. I like white and black. I had too many white vehicles, and black, I felt like it's a little harder to keep clean, even though it's a great color on the Bronco. Like the Bronco Raptor, for example, looks very mean in black. I forget what they call it right now, the color, but anyway, shadow black. But I went through the rest of the colors because I couldn't decide, and finally I saw I was able to see a Area 51 cleaned up in Townsend in the sunlight. And I was like, okay, I'm good with it. Seeing it dirty in Johnson Valley or seeing it on the website picture or, some spy photo, I wasn't liking it that much anymore. And then when I saw it, that's it. So I have it now. And then when you start adding orange accents to it, man, it really pops. So, let's see. So yeah, I want to know what's going on here. And thanks. There's 25 watching right now. Someone over on Facebook there. Hello to everyone watching. I appreciate you being here tonight. There's a lot of stuff to watch. Thank you for being here. If you would, hit that thumbs up for me. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon. Click all notifications. You'll know when we go live. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Jason K said, it looks like a bluish gray. Bronco 6G posted a spy shots of Azure Gray running around. Yeah, so Bronco 6G would probably get the best picture of it so far, right? Because it's going to be out and about. But unless it's clean and hopefully sunny, there'll be some questions for me until I see it. I'll close. Here we go. Hey, John, what's going on? If Ford made an exact package at Everglades minus snorkel, I think they would sell more. Yes. And removing the snorkel is not just that easy, because then you have the fender issue and you have to replace the airbox, because the airbox is different in the Everglades. So it brings in air from the back toward the passenger side A-pillar versus the front. So good point there. John. And I don't know if you've heard anything on your Bronco yet or not, your future Bronco. All right. Steve P said, my 22 was a black diamond, but when the Heritage came out, it didn't get built for a 22. So I switched to the Heritage. I was going to do the black diamond as the Heritage with white. So yeah, the Heritage, man, that race red and white Heritage that they had in Michigan there at the Woodward Dream Cruise, seeing that it was cleaned up, seeing it in the sunlight, it was really looking good. My dad, a long time ago, I had to be Gavin's age or even younger. He had a old Chevy truck and I think he got it for like $5, and it was he painted it red. The outside was red, and the interior was white. Or is it the other way? No, it was the outside was red and the interior was white. And I think somewhere in the back of my mind, rolling around it's a really cool color scheme, right? The red and the black. Also, I had a red and white Shelby, '07 Shelby GT 500. Obviously mostly red, but with the white stripes, and it was just a very clean ride. I think adding a little more white to the interior would make it pop, even though in the Heritage it's that bluish. I call it the digital plaid. Uh, but you know what? I think it looks good. So congratulations. Yeah, definitely congratulations. TJ Miller said, my plans, here we go. My plans for the Black Diamond are a Badlands takeoff suspension. When I find a set of maybe Badlands optional beadlock wheels, entire takeoff, a set of 33s. If I ever find a set. So yeah, they someone here locally talked to at, I forget where we were. It's one of the stores around here. They had actually picked up a set of wheels someone took off. I mean, they took them off the day. The day they took, I think it's like Andrea, he did his pretty soon, but this person, the dealer, the day it came in, the same day they did their inspection, they got all that taken care of. Then they changed the rims and tires on it. So, and I guess the guy picked them up in a truck or something and took them home and probably has them for sale. Now, some people will hang on to them in case they want to use them or put it back if they sell it or whatever, but I don't really know. Nick, if I was to get a new Bronco, I'd get one in Velocity Blue. Yeah, so Nick, you have I forget what color it is, but you have that really rich blue on your Bronco, your early Bronco, the OG Bronco. And that really looks good on that. I think that was the exact color of the one that I owned years ago for like a week, the one that I got that had the tree growing through it and had to cut the tree off below it and in the cab and then over the roof to get it out. It's just, like that big around. Good deal. Let's see. Jason K. Some people posted on Bronco 6G comparing the Zero Gray to Brittany Blue. Huh. So Jason said some people, like I just read, posting on Bronco 6G comparing Azure Gray to Brittany Blue. That's interesting. And I'm telling you right now that even though I'm kind of, not so, I know it seems like I'm down on it. It's just on the website. I'm not seeing it, but if it's like every other color on the website, it will look better in person. Or at least clearer to you so you can make up your mind. Thinking if you're on the fence about it, it might be that perfect color and you do the deal, or you might say, well, it's a little too rich. Maybe the metal flake's too much for you. I think Azure Gray, it looks like it's flat, non-metallic. But I'm saying if you look at Eruption Green or what is it, hot pepper red or hot chili pepper, whatever it is, man, I said it enough. I can't remember it. I think it's hot pepper red or something. That has a lot of flake in it, just like Eruption Green. And when you see it cleaned up in the sunlight, it almost gives it that bronzy orangish hue to it. And I know in the Eruption Green, at least in our Bronco, it has that goldish bronze kind of color to it. It's an awesome color. Very, very outdoorsy, if you ask me. AZ, as you just popped up randomly on my feed. And I'm not sure who you are, but I hope you genuinely enjoy your Bronco. Well, thank you for that. I definitely appreciate that. And I'm glad we popped up in the feed. That must mean the back end of this stuff is working there, but I definitely appreciate you saying that. Thank you very much. I actually love our Bronco. Road trips. I've said it 1,000 times. I don't want to be like a total, fanboy with these things, but I mean, I like it. It was the vehicle that I needed Ford to build for me, and they built it. But it's a comfortable drive, and go have fun with it this weekend. Gavin and I will do some camping, and we'll have some fun. So, thank you for saying that. If you don't mind, if you would consider subscribing to the channel and hitting that thumbs up, I'd greatly appreciate it. All right, Brandon said, for those with a black diamond, What step would you recommend? So when I look at steps, of course, I'm considering Badlands or not, or how tall is your Bronco going to be versus if you're on 32s now or 33s or wherever you're at. Um, and if are you going to add some type of rock rail to it, or that's a good question. So I think the step depends on like the direction of your build. But someone with a black diamond could obviously answer your question better than I can. John Hines said, here we go. Sounds like me here. It's been transferred to a 2023, so it's not been picked up yet. The anxiety from early 21 has set back in. I hear you. Well, and John, I'll tell because I don't want to seem, like that guy on the internet. So we're grateful for what we have. That's why I'm another reason that I am totally okay with waiting. I also have this belief that um, after the first of the year, the interest rates are going to have to start to come down. That's just my belief. It was too much too soon. If you look at dealer inventories, now when you look at these inventory numbers, I'll warn you, you have to pay attention. Some of the inventory is being counted in transit and on dealer lots, which is normal. You should count that. But then pre-ordered sold units before they get to the dealer. So pretty much when they show up, they're being inspected and detailed, and the customer picks them up. Those are also being counted in that. And so part of that, I think vehicles, some manufacturers up 41%, or maybe it's all the manufacturers up 41%. The real number in there, you don't really know what it is because you have to take out all the pre-sold units. So what is actually static inventory? Unsold units that's going to be sitting on a lot. But inventories have started to go up. Used car prices have started to soften, even though the hurricane, Johnny and I did a video where we think that at least in the short term, there'll be a rebound in wholesale prices for used vehicles because of the massive amount of vehicles that were lost and the relatively low inventory of unsold new cars, along with insurance that doesn't cover the entire vehicle and higher interest rates. So when you mix all of that spaghetti up and that soup, you're going to have a lot of people probably buying 2 to 5 year old used cars, hence running the price back up. That's just it's a theory right now, but I guess we'll see in like 30 days. And some also used car sales were down, but part of that's because some auction houses were closed, which affects the transfer of numbers. And then I'm hearing stories of the I guess the report or the condition of the vehicle at the wholesale is not what they were. So there's a lot of stuff going on there. But the point of saying all of that was, as interest rates go up, it's dropping inventories. One of the things I'm hoping is that the interest rates come down in the first of the year, or at least I think if they drop them slightly, it just mentally, right? It would help because they're going up way too fast. And the whole idea is to cool the economy off, but it's starting to cool off quick. But I want to get away from that because that turns political, and that's not what we're about here. Let's see, Brandon. Okay, let's pop this up so everyone can see what TJ Miller's talking about. Yeah, at least on our Bronco, on Becky's Badlands with the rock rail, she really likes the AIG steps, and I think she's going to order a set. Brandon Rich, TJ Florida here. Iconic Bronco sale. Here you go. What do you think of the best top fender flares? I can't wait to buy the 80V fiberglass fenders for my Raptor. Yeah, and by the way, that's a nice setup you have with your Bronco and that trailer. I saw that on Instagram. That's nice, and I think you're going to do something with the wheels and bolt pattern. I think it was in there. It's a really nice looking setup you have. I think the longer the Bronco Raptor's out, the more people will do stuff. I have to honestly see it. I didn't like the painted fender flares that I saw on the one Bronco Raptor. Look, I look at things a little bit different. Yes, the fender flares, um, especially the rear, it's not the perfect design, right? But if you look at something, and this is probably the most jacked up rationale for it all. But if you look at something like a four wheeler, right? You know how they look different. They're aggressive. They're their own little deal. I know it's not a four wheeler; it's a vehicle. I get it, but in the sense of an ATV, but it it just looks so much different. You know what it is, and some people just hate it, and some people like it. I don't care. I'm going to drive it. I'm not going to change them. Now, if I keep it for a very long time, probably, do something different, right? Something will show up aftermarket that I would really like, and hopefully a bolt-on thing, if not the entire fender or quarter. But right now, that's not in the wheelhouse for me. Getting it and filming the heck out of it and enjoying it is number one, and then modifications from there. Like I said, if we were to keep it that long, to answer your question, because I always go like 100 miles around the original question. I haven't paid that much attention. I've seen some of them that I don't really like. I mean, I've seen some that just kinda I don't know how to describe it, but it's a very rounded kind of a flare. That doesn't do it for me. So if they're gonna do it, they need to have some dimension in it, if that makes any sense. At least in my opinion. Jason K, okay, he's Jason is recommending the IAG steps as well. Okay, Steve P said Road Z Roads, sorry, Z Roads has nice step as well. I've heard of Z Roads, but I haven't really looked at their I'll look that up later, check it out, because that way I can say it with some certainty. Okay, Nick said the color of the Bronco is royal blue. Okay, so that's a very sharp, and it's right there in okay, it's in your profile picture there. Pretty cool. And yeah, and I need to upload those pictures. Next week I am going to try to do that. Nick was nice enough to send us some pictures of his Bronco, and it is a early Bronco. It is sweet looking. And I tell you, we have somebody in the area we keep crossing paths. We're supposed to do a review of their Bronco. It's the 70. Um, and so we're going to see if we can finally make that happen before it gets cold, because nobody wants to do that. Yep. So we're still talking about the steps and the Rhino steps as well. And so there are a lot of good options out there. It's all about you've got to like the style, obviously. The price has to work for you, but more importantly, it has to work with your Bronco trim. And what I mean by trim is your Bronco. How high is it? Rock sliders or not, two-door, four-door, that type thing. I know that the Ford sells the hoop steps. Yeah. Brandon said, Ian hit us hard. Well, I'm sorry about that. One of the biggest things is we've been in a Cat 1 hurricane before, and that was bad enough. I could not imagine what happened in Florida. So, and we were supposed to get the remnants went just south of us and to the west. And then a couple of days later, they came back across, and it's been raining ever since Monday. But we were supposed to get a lot of flooding, a lot of wind, and it wasn't a whole lot. So hopefully that thing is gone and out of here, and we don't have to deal with it anymore. Overlanding for fun. Hey, what's going on? What did you win? I don't know. I tell you what, when we decide, I'll get Gavin to pick something out one day, and we'll start mailing them out or something like that. Something to win. Yeah, and Bronco 78 said, "Dang, they'll let anyone hear." Yeah, we haven't blocked him yet. I'm in the blocking mood this week, so let's see. But no, Tim is good people. John Hines, not here to sell for anyone, but I have a set. Hey, no, that's what we're all about. What's a good product? And I'm not here to bash anyone for sure, but yeah, if somebody has a good product, let's talk about it. Not here to sell anyone, but I have a set of 4 of the IAG bolt-on steps for a factory rock rails. So, and I mean, if you have them and you want to unload them, I'm sure someone could look you up on Instagram. Just put in the comments your Instagram handle, and if somebody is interested, connect with you. That's no problem. Let's see, what color are the inserts? Hopefully, have we fully seen the best top flares yet? Bird Dog Overland. So, I've seen several. Well, one was a computer generated kind of a simulation, but I did see. I think it was ADV, and the ones I saw were white, so they weren't even painted anything yet, and they were on. I forget what color Bronco they were on, but obviously they stood out because they're a different color. But you could see the design, which was cool because you could really see. You weren't, the body lines and the style wasn't hidden in a paint job. I don't know. I have to wait and see. We'll definitely go. And I only saw a partial view of the rear one. So yeah, and I don't know if we. That's a good point. Have we really seen the finished product for them? I don't know. Let's see. Iconic Bronco said there are pics floating around of the best top flares. Yeah. So you've got my curiosity up now. I'm going to have to start checking for that stuff tonight. I'm definitely going to have to look at it. TJ Miller, oh, disregard John. Okay. Yeah, TJ, I thought he was wanting to unload a pair as well, which is perfectly okay. If you need to connect with somebody, obviously YouTube doesn't give you that, but connect on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or wherever, and then you can make that happen. Okay, Nick said you can post a picture of my Bronco if you want to. Well, thank you, Nick, for that. And let's see if we can get those loaded this week. And because, like I said, I keep saying this, but we keep looking for this opportunity in our area to do more early Bronco stuff. Because I mean, obviously it's where it began, right? So I really, really love comparing. And speaking of which, we have a car show in town, and see what you think about this. I don't know I won't say the name of it, so they won't let me in, but they have an indoor show and an outdoor show. It's in November. It's here in Virginia Beach. And so we've applied to be in the indoor show. Now, the 66 Mustang's a shoe-in because it's a resto mod. It's loud, it's wild looking, and all that, stripes and shiny. So that gets in no problem. But we wanted to have a display of our 2 Broncos, and because they're technically stock, they are saying, well, those spots are reserved for custom. So, I mean, custom could be a set of wheels, I guess. But what we wanted to do was put them up on, a couple of the rocks, the plastic rocks, the like backflow preventer covers, things like that. Something you could drive up on, like you'll see the Broncos at some of the shows. And we wanted to set up sort of the display around it, showing, you could see the Bronco at an angle. You could see the flex with the stay bar disconnected. You get to see the flex in it. Obviously, when you pull them in there the day before the show, they sit there until the show's over. But you would get an idea, take the doors, the top off, and stuff like that. It's such a cool vehicle that I think that display would add a lot to their show, and also to be able to talk to people and educate people on what all of the cool buttons are. So we have to, tonight, one of the things I have to do is try to send them some pictures of other displays and what I'm thinking about for us. And then they're going to let me know if they're going to let us in. But it's like, okay, a Raptor, it's stock. But if you have a Bronco Raptor, could you get in that show right now? Probably not, because they want to see, Anyway, I thought it was pretty odd. I just figured it's still new enough. and it's so cool. And a lot of people don't know about it. Even people that don't like Jeeps know about Jeeps, right? But like, what are all the buttons? What's the goat mode? What's the hero? And people go to a car show to geek out on that stuff and to learn all that stuff. So anyway, that's it. I've seen a video where someone did a Godzilla swap on an early Bronco. The funny thing is when you hear the word Godzilla, you're thinking, giant, right? It's a what, 7.3 liter. And someone can do the math for me. I drew a blank on the cubic inches, but the degree of the block it's less of a degree of block than a Coyote. And the heads, well, maybe not the degree so much. The heads are a lot smaller. So it's a push rod engine. So you get rid of the giant head that's on a Coyote. It'll actually fit in more stuff. Early trucks, early Mustangs. I think it'll probably fit. A Godzilla would probably fit in a 67, 68, 69, 70 Mustang, even up to 73, pretty easy. I think a 64 and a half and 65, the shock towers are tight and it might physically fit, but it wouldn't give you a lot of room for, flex on the motor mounts. And if you want to do something solid, that's just bad news for a street car. But then you have the headers to worry about. So if you had an early 64 and a half through 66 Mustang, then you would just take the shock towers out, do coilovers, do something different on the suspension. But the Godzilla engine, I'm seeing them pop up in a lot of cool cars, and Ford trademarked or copyrighted the name. What is it? Megazilla. So like bigger than Godzilla's Megazilla. Maybe that there's an idea that's a GT 500 thing. I honestly can't see them doing that with a pushrod engine, but maybe they do. Maybe one of the things about a Coyote with the flat plane crank is the ability to wind it up a lot higher. Red line in the, I don't know, near 9,000 or so. I know, a cross plane crank engine, typically your red line is in the sevens, at least for streetable stuff. I mean, race it like my 347, we can wind it up pretty hard, but there's a point to where you almost just feel like a bolt's getting ready to break somewhere because, it's not intended to wind up. And we don't have to wind it up because the torque band is a little bit lower than, the red line where it's set. But anyway, so what are they going to do with the 7.3? I have no idea. I know they've got it coming out in the truck as one of the engine options, which is pretty cool in the Super Duty because now you have 3 engine options. Well, I think you have 4. I think you have 2 diesels now. So you're going to have the regular power stroke and then the high output power stroke. So there's some fun stuff coming with the engines, but I don't want to get caught up in that too much. But let's see what we have. We're still talking about the steps on that. Maybe we do a video on that about the steps. And I can guarantee you this weekend we're gonna see some nice rigs up at Overland Expo East. I gotta get the name right. We're gonna see some stuff up there. We can probably definitely film and go from Nick North. Hi, how are the future Bronco owner here? Love the community so far. Composed and ready to be submitted when the banks open. Good deal. Good deal. So let me tell you, it's exciting. You get the coolest thing in the world too is unless you get a Heritage Limited or a Raptor, and of course Raptors people are modifying too, but those 2 trims, I would say there's less modifications probably going to happen, even a Heritage. Because a Heritage is just a sweet looking vehicle and you get it and drive it. But the other trims, you're just seeing people do all types of stuff. Bird Dog Overland, I don't know if he's still here. If he has like the overlanding rig, this thing is set up really cool. If you go to his channel after our stream, by the way, go to YouTube and check out Bird Dog Overland and look at what he's got there. It's pretty cool. Overlanding for Fun, Tim over there. And of course, you probably already know Dave and Kelly with All Terrain Nation, all great channels. Johnny's Car Care and Reviews, all friends of mine, but just some really cool stuff. And you get to see different different builds. You have the overlanding stuff, the off-roading stuff, and mine is basically stock. Even though we have Badlands, which is already, you know, from Ford, a very good off-roading vehicle. So yeah, it's a pretty cool community, and you get to see what people are doing and get ideas as well. Yeah, let's see. Well, there's a nice comment from it. Sounds like an HOA. What? Let's see. What is that? Mobile. What was the HOA comment? I don't read code tonight. I've had a complicated week. Okay, 7.3. So I think you're four. Is that it? 444 cubic inches. So is that for a 7.3? I forget. Was it 60? I thought it was 61 cubic inches. Anyway, I'm not going to try to do the math here live on air, but I thought it was 61 to a liter or something like that. Yeah, tell them it's a dinosaur. Yeah. Yeah, the big engine. It's so when you look into the big block stuff, the old big block engines, they really I mean, they were heavy, but a lot of those were just really strong engines. 429, 460. There's people that swore by them. Some people didn't like them. I've always been a small block Ford guy. The 289 was great, but the 302, we've been able to do a lot of fun stuff with a 302 and a 351 Windsor. And really combining a 302 and a Windsor, old school was taking the Windsor heads and doing some machining and changing geometry and making that work on a 302. And of course, now with all of the aftermarket heads that you have, you can get a set of aluminum heads and do that. Probably cheaper and maybe about the same in cost now. By the time you find a really good machine shop who really knows how to machine those Windsor heads to fit on that block. But speaking of the old engines, there's a lot of good ones out there. The new ones, I have not hopped up a Coyote, or I haven't even seen in person a Godzilla. I do have the 6.7 diesel in my truck, and of course the 2.7s, and what else do we have running around here? A 4.6 and a 3.0 and a 3.5. So we do have some of those engines, but I have not seen those engines. Now, maybe, who knows? Maybe we'll see something this weekend. Oh, let's see. Yeah, bird dog overland. Yeah, there's no telling what's coming next, right? I mean, the names just get bigger and bigger and bigger. Nick North, I'm a Big Ben manual hardtop 4-door with Sasquatch. Good deal. What color, if you don't mind me asking? Yep. Iconic Bronco, Megazilla twin turbo Godzilla crate motor. So, my theory, the reason why in the 4th generation Coyote added the Predator rods is because one of the, if you look at adding more compression, whether it be standalone compression in an engine, or if you're looking at supercharging or boosting, anything that increases the cylinder pressure, I think that if they're changing the rods and that's all they're changing, that tells me that we're expecting more compression or potential compression, like an aftermarket, which I think there's already an aftermarket supercharger, maybe for the Dark Horse. And if that's the case, then, that's probably the reason why they're using the Predator rods in the 4th generation Coyote. So not anything that way. Yeah. I know what a HOA is in the real estate business. I was trying to figure out how it fit in our show tonight. Sorry. Maybe I'm a little slow. Let's see. Duane, check out Hennessy Performance Raptor with 500 horsepower, 550 torque Velociraptor. I will. So I'll check that out because and I have seen it, right? I've seen pictures of it and seen the name, but I haven't really, kind of like, deep dive into it as well. That'll probably be a good read for this weekend. Who knows? Let's see. Brandon Richards, did anyone get the protective paint from the factory or the dealership? I keep saying a year later on one and almost coming up on a year in January, a year later on the second one. I keep saying we need to do something on the paint. And I think probably what we're going to do is maybe get a very good detail shop in the area to do a ceramic. And I've asked, is there a timeline? Well, the sooner the better, the less damage, the better, right? Because the more scratches and swirls that you put on it, the more prep work you have to do, or, it's not going to look as good, right? As if you do it when it's new. I get all of that. But can you, our Broncos look great. There's 2 rock chips in the blue one that are so small you can hardly see them. And they're not to the substrate. They're just chip the color itself and still a little white behind it. So, touch up to that. And one's behind it. Still don't know how a rock hit behind the door handle on the passenger side. Like winning the lottery would probably be easier than doing that again, but it happened. It's there. So fixing that's a non-issue. The other one is on the right passenger side rear door. Becky has a couple on hers. Those are non-issues. The rest of the Broncos, when they're clean, they're spotless. So we could do a protective coating over those now without a lot of issues. Now, the longer you wait, the more scratches, dings, and stuff you have. A little more prep work that's involved. But I don't know anyone else in the chat that has done it. Let's see. Ceramic will be nice. Keep them clean, but ceramic coating won't keep you from getting rock chips. No, you're exactly right. And when I was talking about rock chips, what I meant was when they told me a price to do it, they said, well, depending on how much damage is there may be prep involved before we do it. So yeah, it's going to keep a lot of the stains easier to clean, right? The water beads up, shoots off a little bit more. Road tar, things like that, gets just easier to come off. I get it. But yeah, if you have the chips, you have the chips. And that's where the PPF comes in. But PPF has its disadvantages too. I have on my F-250, we have these little pieces behind the front tires. And I think on the rear, the bottom of the bed behind the back tires. And there may be a little piece in front of it. And what happens is you get some discoloration around the edge. And so I know if you wrap the entire thing, the edges are going to be out of sight, or hopefully out of sight. But then the cost to do it versus the cost to repaint it, I got a price from our body shop. I said, hey, what if I came in here and this thing was beat up and scratched up? The price they gave me was not that much higher than the price that I got to wrap it. So I just struggle with that. And the fact that it is not it's not a forever deal. There comes a point to where it will have to be maintenance and replaced, if you keep it long enough. Let's see. TJ Miller's, iconic Bronco. They have a bunch of Broncos at the shop. I was quoted $2,100 for a full front clip for the Expel PPF. And yeah, I'm not knocking the stuff. PPF, there's people that swear by it. There was a Ford GT delivered to the dealer. First place it went was to a place in Charlotte, North Carolina. Of course, an enclosed trailer to be totally covered in PPF. Of course, that car is going to spend most of its life, inside. So it's not the daily driver, of course. It's not sitting outside all the time. So that's going to hold up a lot longer. And I totally get that. But on a daily driver, I wouldn't. And I know that you can have a vehicle that maybe PPF works better for you, and maybe on some colors it does better too, right? I would imagine the darker the color, wouldn't it absorb more heat, maybe fatigue a little bit faster, or no? I don't know. I don't know that much about it, except for when I was talking to a couple different people in the area that do it, and they say, hey, it's great. But I mean, the one guy was honest. He said, it's going to cost a lot of money to do it. We'll be glad to do it, but don't expect it to take away all of the damage and last forever. So you'll come back and you'll have some different area. I mean, guy was straight up with me. So, and they do it every single day. And then I got a price. What if I had to repaint it? No dents, rock chips, scratches. What would it cost? And it was like $7,000, but the PPF was close to 5. And I just couldn't do the math there. I mean, it's just, now I get it. A factory paint job by far is better than being repainted. I get that. But yep. And just like everything else, the materials, you're right, aren't that expensive, per square foot type thing, but it's the technique, the prep work, the labor to do the proper prep work, and the skill it takes to do it so it looks good and it lasts a long time. So, um, I did. Iconic Bronco said, let's see what dealer wanted 1900 for a ceramic coat. Wow, I was quoted 650 at the time of purchase. Now, I think it's a little bit higher later, but if you did it part of the, in the finance, when you go to do finance, and um, it was part of the ad, right, to the back end of the deal there. And so if you want to do a 650 later on, it would cost a little bit more. Bird Dog Overland, I love my PBF. The stealth version looks great with the matte finish. Yeah. Now, yours was a little bit different because you've added some color or texture, with the matte to it. And I think that makes more sense because if I wanted to change the color of the Bronco, now I'm doing two things. I can change the finish from gloss to matte. I can also change the color to a point, right? I think some of these you can pretty much do a lot of different things with the color. So that would be different for me. So maybe I couldn't get the color that I was sold on that I wanted. That's it. Okay, fine. I'll get a white one or whatever color that would to go well, and then I would wrap it. Um, I was trying to think the color that they picked a black one because they wrapped it in a color that really worked well. Is that the the black background really worked with the wrap that they used, and I forget what color it was, but I remember there was a reason for it. And it really looked sharp. So if I was looking to change the color, the texture, sure, or the finish, then yes, it makes more sense. But just doing, I'm speaking about a clear. If I'm clearing over eruption green, sometimes I have a problem with the math on that. But that's just where I'm at. Any other comments you want to talk about before we split tonight? Let's see, we're an hour and 30 minutes. I have a few things to do, and there's a lot. Look, I have some homework here. I appreciate the comments tonight. Thanks for all the ideas and things to look up and read and to figure more about. The Coyote. This was it. The 6.8, the 7.3. Those are all engines that I really want to learn more about because I haven't owned one. I know. I know the basics about them, but I've never worked on one, so I can't tell you from experience. Where some of the engines, yes, we've gotten our hands dirty and done it, and can tell you some weak points and tips and tricks and things like that, especially on a small block Ford. I don't. It's not that I've just read a lot of magazines over my life. Like, we've built those engines and we know weak points and we know how to solve some of those. But the Coyote stuff, some of these guys building these engines, they are super talented and they know those spots in them and they know exactly what to do on a rebuild. Let's see what the 7.3 looks like. You get enough hours or miles on one, say hours on a race car or miles on a street car. Let's see what they do, how they hold up. So, Brandon Richards, great community. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Thank you for saying that. I try here, we're like everyone else. We get our fair share of the comments during the week, and keeps us lively, right? Keeps us going. But I appreciate the positive comments and the feedback, and anything out there that you want to know more about on some of our videos. You can find me on Instagram, but on some of our videos, just ask the question, say, hey, let's look into this. I had someone ask me about washing their Bronco, like there is a way to wash it. There's a couple different ways to wash a vehicle right. One of the ways is you spray the foam, your soap of choice, and there's a couple select brands out there, but you spray foam, right? And you let it run off and you wash it off. And then there's a way to wash it with mitts or drying rags. And there's, if you're going to do that, there's a way to do it to protect the clear coat from the scratches and stuff. And that's going to be one of our next videos, because if you look at our Broncos up close, there's very little marks in it at all, swirl marks. And the darker colors, especially if it's flat, you really get to see a lot of that. Well, the Area 51 looks great. But there's a way of doing that. And they asked the question. I said, hey, let's do a video on it. So if you don't want to invest in, the power washer to shoot the foam on the car, and well, there's another way of doing it. Now, if you have like a wrap like Bird Dog Overland has, that is going to be much more of a protectant, obviously. So it's not so open to those swirls and the things that really bug you. You get that certain light and you see all the swirls. Like, geez. Now, if you run your Bronco hard, you have dents in it, and every dent has a story, and you like telling that story, that's probably not going to be an issue for you. But if you want it to look showroom for as long as possible, there's a way to wash it and help with that. So pretty cool. And yeah, Bird Dog Overland, thank you very much for saying that. Hit the like button for me if you don't mind, that thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. I greatly appreciate it. We do appreciate every time you watch one of our videos and watch one of the live streams here, which technically is a video. But I'm really happy that you spend time out of your life to do that. I don't take it lightly. How's that? Let's get a couple more comments in here. Mobile said, still fighting my 6.8 V10. So I think you had a miss issue or something on that. And you were changing coils, I believe, on that. Any possibility it's some crud on the valves causing a rough idle? I don't, that's about as much as I know on that, right? Coils and it doesn't have to be a boosted engine to get some garbage on the valves, even though if it's port injection, it's less likely than direct. And I think that's probably port, I would imagine. Let's see. Search 2 bucket method for washing with grit guards, no swirls. Yeah, TJ Miller. So we have a 3 bucket deal. We went 1 bucket heavy. Yeah, so we have 3 buckets. And we have the strainers in the bottom, or the grit guards, I think you call them. So there is a way that we have found it, and it might seem, my neighbor came over and said, geez, you have enough buckets for 1 vehicle? It's like, I have a reason for it. And there's a certain kind of car wash I've been using since the late 80s called Duragloss, and there's different numbers on Duragloss, and I'll show the video, and Becky can help me with it, because I'll pick the coldest day we can, and maybe we can, spray her with water. I did that last year and almost had to sleep outside. She didn't like the cold water, but then she did it to me, and it was cool. It was funny. That was funny. That was all right, but not the other way around. But I'll get her to help me with it, and it'll be fun. You'll actually get to see how I keep these clean. Yes, they sit in the garage, and no, we don't run them through the mud, but we do take them to the beach. And there's something to be said about that. If you go to the beach on a windy day, you'll get blowing sand on your Bronco, and how do you get that off without scratching it? It's not necessarily just hosing it off. There's a little way to that. And what's interesting about the beach is you get sand in places that you just didn't know was possible. We took not a lot. We took a little bit of sand in the air box on a real windy day. We went out on a day that wasn't that windy and still ended up with some in there. So I'm thinking, that's, amazing. I also recommend your Bronco, if you're running the heck out of it and you're running through mud and dirt and dry, check your filter before once a year, right? Maybe after every heavy trip off road, maybe check the filter and see what it looks like. That's what we do. I don't drive to Walmart and come back and check it. Don't get me wrong. But if I'm on the beach and there's no wind and we're not doing anything crazy, I don't check it when I come home. But if the wind's blowing and I can see sand blowing in the air, I am going to check it when I get back, because the chance of it bringing some in was, well, pretty good, right? Let's see. Yeah, coils. Mobile said I shim my CHMSL up 2 inches to clear 37. Sleep on the couch challenge. This is when you spray your wife with a garden hose washing the car. Yep, that's it. Yeah, and Bronco. So the requirements for sending it is check your air filter and keep the water below the top of the grill. I might have, earlier when I said I don't rock crawl, I don't jump stuff, I don't go through salt water. I might want to say that I'm not interested in taking it through water up to the top of the hood. It's just not my, and I'm seeing a lot of these Broncos, they're having alternator issues or hydrolocking or not technically hydrolocking, but getting enough water in the intake, it's not allowing the engine to run. And then, yes, hydrolocking is a possibility. I mean, do what you want to with your Bronco. I'm just saying that's not our style. I have an old car to work on. So if I want to do something like that, we're going to take it to the chassis dyno. There's a friend of mine online. He said, hey, let's do this video. He'll be at a chassis dyno in his state, and I'll do one here, and we'll do a live together or something like that. So we're trying to put all that together, and that'll probably be the day that engine goes up in smoke. and so we want to do a crate engine, right? The idea that I don't really care if I blow it up or not is because we want to do a crate engine. And so fuel injected, something with a lot of horsepower, but very streetable. So I want to be able to put gas in it and drive it versus now it's put cam 2 in it and at 13.5 to 1 compression, make sure everything is happy when I take it around the block. Let's see. Luke with Lifestyle Off. Oh, here we go. Bronco 78 said, Luke with Lifestyle Off-Road just did a video about what to check after you've been out in the mud and off-road. So Bronco 78, thanks for that. I did see that. I don't know if I saw it on one of the socials or not, but I did see that that title today, and I didn't get a chance to watch it, but I will watch that. And Luke's good people from what I know of him. I met him once and heard a lot of people say a lot of good stuff. He knows how to wheel and what to look out for. So that ought to be a good video. There's going to be hundreds of, yeah, there will be hundreds of Broncos. And I don't, what do you think about all these Broncos getting into fender benders? And some of them are a little bit more. I'm seeing the Bronco looks like it holds up pretty well in a rear end collision or even the front end collision. At least the pictures that we're seeing on social media, you don't get to see them all, but the ones that are posted looks like the Bronco is taking a lot less damage than the car that's hitting them. So, there's something to be said about that. But yes, there'll be a lot of Broncos to buy, to modify, and to do that. So, folks, I am out of here. Thank you all for the comments tonight. Thank you for the interaction. It's fun to be able to get some ideas for future videos and also just stuff to figure out. Steps was a big issue or a big conversation tonight, not an issue. So let's look at some step options out there and maybe what step with what trim or what modification you have, and see if we can try to give some options on that. So I do appreciate each and every one of you for being here tonight. As always, check out the video that we uploaded earlier today. It's the base Bronco build. And TJ Miller, thank you. Yeah, Nick, I look forward to chatting with you next week. Have a good night, Dirk. And you look like you're cold, sir. So it was chilly here today. I'm not, it needs to get cold before I'm comfortable, but it's like 66 in the house. So I'm like, God, I got to bundle up in here. But anyway, we'll turn the heat on probably tonight because I don't stay cold in my house. But it's going to be 76 tomorrow. So, turn the heat on tonight and AC tomorrow, just leave it. Anyway, thanks. Appreciate everyone being here tonight. I do greatly appreciate it. And have a great week. Be successful, be safe, and hope you have a great one. Bye.